Shabbat is set apart from routine so that the delights of being alive can be savored without the distractions of noisy demands, jobs, money, and the strivings of the ego. Shabbat is not a burden, it is ours, and within it we may find joy and happiness, rest and respite. Let us make it our own, adapting traditions and creating new ones, finding new and creative ways to taste its sweetness, and finding ways to love and laugh together. Love life with happiness. Come into community with joy.
En hayim besimcha, simcha, simcha, simcha. Bואו לקהל ברננה, na 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 na. אהבו את hayim besimcha, simcha, simcha, simcha. בואו לקהל ברננה, na 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 na. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la.
Could somebody read this for us?
Listen, Israel, we are all one. Humanity is one. Come, let us work together to improve this world. Shema Yisrael, Kulanu Echad, Hadam Echad. Hava Navo Letakin et Haolam Kazeh.
Could somebody else read this, please?
We place these words in our hearts and souls, bind them as a sign on our hands, and they will be a reminder between our eyes. We will teach them to the next generation, and we will talk about them while sitting in our homes, walking on the road, lying down, and getting up. We will write them on the doorposts of our houses and on our gates, and may our days and the days of those to come be prolonged for as long as the heavens are above the earth.
We have a moment of silent reflection. We hope for the day when all people will live in security and peace, when violence will not be committed by one person against another, by one group against another, or by one nation against another. We express our special concern that Jews throughout our world may live in security and peace, but our concern does not end with the Jewish people. Like the prophet Isaiah, we long for the time when all people shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Lo yisa goy ad goy cherev, when nation shall not take up sword against nation. Lo yilmeldu od milchama, and our world shall never again know war.
Everyone beneath their vine and fig tree shall live in peace and not be afraid. Everyone beneath their vine and fig tree shall live in peace and not be afraid. Oh, I don't wanna fight no more. Oh, we fought and died 1,000 wars. Oh, I won't learn war anymore. Oh, I can open up my door. Everyone beneath the vine and fig tree should live in peace and not be afraid. Everyone beneath the vine and fig tree should live in peace and not be afraid. Oh, I don't want to build more walls. Oh, there's room here for us all. Oh, we're not free till we're all free. Oh, I'll free you and you'll free me. Everyone beneath the vine and fig tree shall live in peace and not be afraid. Everyone beneath the vine and fig tree shall live in peace and not be afraid. Free to be and to breathe. Free to move where you please. Free to answer your call. Free and plant in your tree. Everyone beneath the vine and fig tree shall live in peace and not be afraid. Everyone beneath the vine and fig tree shall live in peace and not be afraid. Lo yisa goya goya cheref, lo yimedu milchama. Lo yisa goya goya cheref, lo yimedu milchama. Everyone beneath the vine and fig tree shall live in peace and not be afraid. Everyone beneath that vine and fig tree shall live in peace and not be afraid.
We now turn our minds and hearts towards those who need our love, who are ill, who are lonely, who suffer pain, or who have been wronged. Let us pause as we call out their names.
For Oswin,
Marcia
Elise.
Jean, John Harry, have your late.
Naomi.
Nancy, Susie,
And Luigi Lellis, who told me that he's in hospital and couldn't come today. We hope he's okay.
To those who long for healing, refuah shlema, with compassion and with feeling, we say refuah shlema. There's a light inside you that is there to guide you, to help you find the strength you need. Refuah shlema. And may you feel a sense of peace. Refuah shlema.
I'm just going to stop the screen share a second. Bear with me 1 second. Friends, we are here today to celebrate Purim, a holiday that commemorates the resilience of our people and the power of standing up to oppression. This story does not mention the supernatural. The authors neither invoked nor mentioned God. What does this mean? Perhaps it means that the characters are archetypes that reflect drives within us all. Haman is the embodiment of a hatred so intense it seeks to erase an entire people's existence and identity. Haman symbolizes any force, be it a person, a political system, a cultural attitude, or our own inner saboteur that aims to diminish or deny our humanity and worth. His decree was total. He wanted to eradicate our mythological ancestors, both physically and psychologically, by attacking their very identity. We cannot just accept the threat of annihilation as an unchangeable fate. we see in Haman's hatred a call to confrontation, an invitation to respond with courage and moral clarity. Human beings have the power and the responsibility to shape the world, to influence our destinies, and to protect the dignity of all. Esther's response to Haman is as instructive as it is surprising. First, she hides her Jewish identity, maintaining the facade that she is simply the favored queen of King Ahasuerus. In doing so, she attempts two careful acts of kindness, inviting the king and Haman to a banquet twice before she reveals her true motive. This reveals Esther's complexity and her cautious approach to survival. She navigates the dangerous waters of palace intrigue with strategy rather than immediate confrontation. We can understand Esther's hesitancy. She's fully aware that society, and certainly Haman, holds the power to destroy her. She recognizes that to survive, she needs to soften hearts or at least gain the trust of those in power. She worked with the palace system, not against it. Sometimes we too mask parts of ourselves, hoping the powers that be will come to see us first as human. Esther's gentle approach is a reminder that diplomacy and kindness can be part of our toolkit. Yet even as Esther extends invitations and plays the role of a gracious host, she knows that simple kindness is not enough to stop hatred. Eventually, Esther recognizes that if she remains silent, if she never reveals her full identity and the danger her people face, then her voice and her people's voice could be lost. Thus, she takes a bold step. She lays her identity bare. She loses her passing privilege, so to speak, pleading for her life and the life of her people, unequivocally condemning Haman's plan. In this moment, Esther moves from caution to courage, from strategic silence to resolute truth-telling, and by doing so, she shows us the power of self-advocacy. Sometimes we think that by hiding or diminishing who we are, we can protect ourselves from harm. But in the face of a threat as fierce as Haman, Esther teaches us that open and honest confrontation is ultimately necessary. We cannot rely solely on the good graces of those in authority. We must speak out and advocate for our own right to exist. The story of Esther is a testament to our human capacity for courage and moral action. Esther herself took ownership of her role in shaping the future of her community. In our modern lives, we too can channel Esther's resolve wherever we face bigotry. Haman's hatred must always be met with clear-eyed resilience, and as Esther modeled, that resilience can include dialogue and diplomacy, but it must ultimately rest on our willingness to claim our voice. We can choose to look to Esther as the true hero of the story, and not Mordecai, who responded with revenge, ordering retaliatory attacks against all those who opposed the Jews. Men, women, and children alike, none of them were spared. That way of thinking is a little too close to home right now, and maybe Esther could have mustered a little extra courage to speak out against Mordecai, her kinsman. Perhaps she did, and the men who wrote her story reveled in their own power and might, forgetting the calm and gentle character of Esther once she had served her purpose. Let us not learn from their side of the story. So let us today celebrate Purim by rejoicing not only in our survival, but in our duty to ensure the survival of human dignity, that our rights as Jews go hand in hand with the rights of all other people. Let us be watchful of the forces of Haman and Mordecai in our own societies that diminish the worth of any person. And let us remember Esther's quiet hospitality, her hidden identity, and finally her resounding call to justice. May this story remind us that we hold within ourselves the power to make ethical choices, stand firmly against hatred, and speak our truth, even when it is risky. In the spirit of Purim, we celebrate life, resilience, and hope. May we continue to craft a Jewish life that speaks out against oppression and affirms our shared humanity. Let us go forth inspired by Esther, committed to upholding each other's dignity, and ready to challenge the Hamans of this world and the Mordecais of this world whenever and wherever they appear. Thank you. I see that Luigi has joined us, so hopefully that means that he's well enough. Okay. Okay, we're going to move on to the Megillah reading. So as I said before, what would be nice is if when we hear the word Haman, we unmute and we make lots and lots of noise. And then we mute again. And when we hear Esther, we unmute and we cheer and clap, and then we mute again. And choose what you want to do with Mordechai's name. Can we all remember to be muted, please? Thank you. Okay, great.
Today we read the Megillah when Mordechai to Haman said nah. So now we celebrate with hurrah. La 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 de Purim. Viva yo, viva rey, viva todos Israel, viva la reina Esther, que nos dio tanto placer, que nos dio tanto placer. We love Esther for being brave, for all the Jews that she did save, for the justice she did give. La 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 la, al día de Purim. Viva yo, viva el rey, viva todos Israel, viva la reina Esther, que nos dio tanto placer. Viva yo, viva el rey, viva todos Israel, viva la reina Esther, que nos dio tanto placer, que nos dio tanto placer. Today we eat burrata and send our friends to Zaria. Don't forget your tzedakah. La 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 la, al día de Purim. Viva yo, viva el rey, viva todos Israel, viva la reina Esther, que nos dio tanto placer, que nos dio tanto placer. Wearing masks and silly are we, as we dance all day with glee, now that we the Jews are free. Viva yo, viva el rey, viva todos Israel, viva la reina Esther, que nos dio tanto placer. Viva yo, viva el rey, viva todos Israel, viva la reina Esther, que nos dio tanto placer, que nos dio tanto placer.
Okay, so just a reminder, cheer for Esther, boo stamp, rattle Gregors for Haman. Are we ready? So let us say the Berachah before reading the scroll of Esther. Blessed is the light in the tradition which gives us joy and happiness in the reading of the scroll of Esther. Baruch ha'or b'masoret hanoten lanu sason besimcha bekriyat Megillat Esther. And if you remember just to unmute and read, and then step down if you need to, and step up if you need to. And if there are overlaps, that's fine. You don't need to apologize. Just decide which one is going to speak. So I'll begin. In ancient days in Persia's land, a king named Ahasuerus did stand. He reigned in Shushan, grand and bright, and hosted feasts both day and night.
His riches shone with pomp and pride. He called Queen Vashti to his side, but when she refused the royal call, he banished her from court and hall.
Then counsel came, O king, we seek a new, more lovely queen to keep. A search began across the land for women fair at his command.
Among them all, Esther was shy.
Yay!
Yea, her kin did hope she might comply. She was a Jew, but kept it hid, just as her cousin Mordecai bid.
Guys, we need to make noise when we hear Esther and Haman. So let's do better on the next few slides.
In Shushan streets, good Mordecai served at the gate with watchful eye. He saved the king from danger dire, exposing the traitor's hidden fire.
The king was spared, yet soon forgot to honor him who'd foil the plot. Meanwhile, a lord named Haman rose, demanding bows wherever he goes.
But
But
Mordecai,
Mordecai stood straight and tall. No bow for Haman. Boo!
Boo!
None at all. Enraged, the tyrant hatched a scheme against the Jews, his hateful dream.
he cast the poor, the lot was drawn, a date to strike from dusk till dawn, with royal seal in Haman.
Arr.
Boo!
Boo!
Yeah.
And a threat of death spread through the land.
When Mordecai learned of this plight, he tore his clothes in grief and fright. He cried to Esther,
Go, Esther!
"Plead our case. This evil stands before our face."
Though you're the queen, don't think you're spared. If we all fall, you too are snared. Now is your time. Rise, risk your throne. Perhaps for this you have been shown.
Though fear did
Though
shine
fear, go ahead.
in Esther's heart, she vowed to play her destined part. If I must perish, so I will, but I'll go forth with courage still.
She fasted 3 days, set her plan, then ventured to the royal man. The king, enchanted by her grace, extended gold to grant her space.
She asked him softly, would you dine too with Haman? Upon this night of mine, a feast I'll host, let it not delay. The king agreed, and Haman
Boo!
obey.
Boo!
That evening's feast was richly spread. The king inquired what weighed her head, but Esther paused. Her moment not ripe, she asked them back the following night.
Haman
Ooh.
left,
Yeah.
but soon was vexed by Mordecai, who stood unbowed,
Yeah.
perplexed. His friends advised a gallows high. Haman rejoiced.
Ew.
He soon shall die.
Yet that same
Yet
night,
that same night,
the king record each gracious thing. He read the records in his room and found how Mordecai saved him from doom.
has he been paid for feats so grand? No, no gift has graced his hand. Then who did enter at dawn's first light? Ooh, his very self did burn up with
Ew. Yeah.
The king inquired, "What is the price for one who stands so highly in my eyes?" Hey, man. It must be he, expecting honors for all to see. A royal robe, a noble steed, a grand parade, just what he'd need. Go, do this now, the king said. Then, for Mordecai is most worthy of men.
Aghast had no retort. He dressed his foe, led him through court. His hatred grew, but time was short. For Esther's feast drew him forth.
At the banquet, the king asked anew, "What is your wish? I'll grant it true." Then Esther rose with trembling grace. "O king, a plot is laid in place."
There is one
There
who
is
wishes
one
to
who wishes to kill my people and take theirs. And so the truth at last arrives. I too am Jewish. Esther.
Yay!
Revealed. The king was stunned by what was revealed.
furious. He stormed out to thank Haman. In terror began to sink. He begged the queen to spare his fate, but the king returned in wrath so great.
He found Haman near the queen's divan. His fury flared. Seize that man! They hanged him high on the gallows he built for his vile designs and murderous guilt.
Yet still
the edict stood in law. To slay the Jews, no time to stall. But Esther
Yay!
and Mordecai,
Smart.
wise and brave, asked the king a new decree to save.
He let the Jews defend their own, so sorrow turned to joyous tone. Across the realm from fear they rose, and triumphed over all their foes.
Then Mordecai, go ahead.
Then Mordecai grew in royal might. His name was honored, shining bright. Esther, yay! Beloved by the king, and peace was sown through everything.
But of Mordecai, we must go ahead.
You go ahead.
But of Mordecai, we must inquire, was he truly such a great guy? For after all was done, from peace he did retire.
Thus Purim came for all to share, exchanging gifts with festive flair. We read this tale, how fate was turned, and from each verse, deep truth is learned.
Rejoice with sweets and joyous cheer. Recall how Esther
Ooh, yay,
conquered
Esther.
fear.
Yay!
And year by year the story's told that faith and courage can't be sold.
The joyful day of Purim now has come. Our ancient story lives in every drum. With dancing, with laughter, triumph is near. For evil at last now cowers in fear. Oh, hear this tale and behold its great might of a mighty king who threatened our plight. But faith held strong and a miracle came. A nation arose, igniting a flame. It's Purim, we sing here with delight. Rejoice in the mercy, banishing night. Lift hands to the heavens with honor, grace. We stand as one people, fear we erase. Clap to the rhythm, let faith fill the air. United we shine, the light that we share. But Haman devised to destroy all our kin with hatred and pride, so sure he'd win. Yet soon arose a plan, cunning and pure, and faith in our hearts would still shine and endure. Amidst danger, our strong unity bloomed. By patience and courage, spirit illumined. In robes of grace, we found a new light. Together we sing, no sorrow in sight. It's Purim, we sing here with delight. Rejoice in the mercy, banishing night. Lift hands to the heavens with honor, grace. We stand as one people, fear we erase. Clap to the rhythm, let faith fill the air. United we shine, the light that we share.
Purim Alegre, everyone. Purim Alegre.
Purim Alegre.
Purim alegre.
Purim Alegre.
How can y'all sit still with all that great music going?
I didn't sit still.